views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Their mission is to engage young people as active partners in their own development. They provide over 1,200 students with high-quality, content-driven programs that are educational and career-driven. DFOY, Directions for Youth, is our guest on this edition of Perspectives. Try that. That's a tongue twister. But I want you to know, guess what? They're a not-for-profit, community-based youth organization. And guess what? We're going to meet them front and center on this edition of Perspectives with yours truly, Daren Jaime.
What's on your mind?
Let 'em know.
What's on your mind? What's on your mind?
Let 'em know.
Anything relevant to life, you bring it to the table. Whether you make a move solo or a movement with a stable. No fables, you speak on your decisions. Cause in the long run, it's your voice, your views, your vision. Keeping it real with many messages for you to know. This ain't radio, but DJ runs the show. Entertainment, he rocks it. Politics, he locks it. The host with the most would handle any topic. Don't forget to share your perspective with shines of light. Cause it might make a difference in someone else's life.
Make a difference.
What's your perspective?
Express what's in your heart and your mind. Share your perspective.
What's your perspective?
Let 'em know. And hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Perspectives. I am Daren Jaime. Of course, we thank you for watching and joining us live. Check this out. You can check us on Perspectives every week on BronxNet's Channel 67. If you have Verizon Files, it's Channel 33. Now, if you don't catch us on TV, you can always catch us on the web at bronxnet.org, and there you can find some past episodes of Perspectives. And also, check us out on social media. We've got Twitter, you got Facebook, you got Instagram, all these different ways. My professional page, Daren C. Jaime, and stay connected to us here on Perspectives, where we bring you news, current events, and the things that you need to know, including interesting organizations. Talk about interesting organization. Well, guess what? Our guest in the studio, they're a not-for-profit, community-based youth development organization providing quality out-of-school time programming in underserved areas of the Bronx and Manhattan. And joining me now to tell us about the organization and the remarkable work that's being done there, we welcome now Rameek Williams, who is the CEO and Executive Director of Directions for Youth, better known as D4, and we're good to have you.
Good to be here.
Hey, welcome, brother. Good to have you. So talk to us about this, because as we talk about serving, and in the intro I said you guys serve about 1,200 kids.
Yep, that's right.
So talk about the work that you guys are doing.
So we're a youth development-based organization. We have 9 sites, 8 here in the Bronx, 1 in Lower East Side of Manhattan. We operate after-school programs, out-of-school time programs, summer camps, mentoring programs, leadership development programs. That's for our youth. In addition to those programs, we link their parents and other community members with basic human service needs, HRA benefits, GED, ESL classes, college and career preparation courses, vocational courses, those types of activities and resources that are easily accessible to some, but not always easily accessible to those living in some of the communities that we serve.
Right, so in a lot of these underserved communities, access to resources becomes a real challenge. How are you going about really connecting those dots?
Well, first we form partnerships, and then we bring our partners to where we're at. So in 2 of our locations, in particular the Butler Houses Community Center, it's a 2-fare zone. So you have to take a train to a bus or a bus to a train to get there. So we've partnered with Human Resources Administration. We've partnered with the City University of New York. We've partnered with Workforce One Development Center. We've partnered with Bronx Lebanon Hospital, the Family Medicine Department at Bronx Lebanon Hospital, to bring what they do usually either in their offices or in their campuses over to Butler Houses Community Center, so that our parents, our community members, our residents don't have to travel far to get access to those resources.
And so when we talk about youth, obviously, you know, there's a lot of concerns, GED, college prep, all of that. How are you tackling, and what are some of the ways that you're tackling dealing with those?
The first thing is to meet the kids where they're at. right? Not every kid is going to go to Harvard, but every kid can get some form of collegiate education, whether it's vocational education, whether it's a 4-year degree. So what we do is we meet the kids where they're at. Then we give them those resources that they need. If they're doing well, if they're on task, then it's exposing them to college. It's exposing them to 2-year schools. It's exposing them to 4-year schools, the scholarships and the fellowships that they need in order to have low costs on their degrees. If kids aren't on task, then what we do is expose them to academic resources. It may mean helping them get an assessment, individual education plan to identify if they have any learning deficits or learning disabilities. We help them get tutoring. They may need additional support outside of the classroom. They may need a mentor, someone that they could speak with to encourage them, help navigate them through the systems. We also assist parents in selecting schools for their kids. So the middle school application process and the high school application process here in New York City is really difficult. And it's really difficult for parents that are short on time, or parents who may not be familiar in terms of their own educational background with the resources and information that they need. So we apply what we know that works in terms of school selection best fit to our programs, and that helps kids find better middle schools, better high schools, and ultimately we believe, and what we're tracking, will lead to better outcomes in terms of graduation.
Yeah, because a lot of kids, we know, with the graduation rate being the way that it is, and the city has an initiative trying to push the graduation rate up, but it takes a lot of community grassroots organizations to really accentuate what the school system is really lacking in.
Yeah. Here in the Bronx, it's about 65 to 68% high school graduation rate. But of that graduation rate, about 18% are actually college ready. So you can see there's a lot of room for improvement. And again, not every kid is going to go on to college, or not every kid is going to go on to a 4-year school, but every kid should at least be equipped with the skills that they need to thrive and not just survive. So they should be able to read a loan application, because hopefully one day they're going to get a house or they're going to get a car. They should be able to process that type of information that will allow them to live a successful adulthood. And sometimes it's a challenge in just their own lives. They have siblings that they have to take care of. They're responsible for things in their own homes. So it's separating what they have to do in terms of right now, what's happening in their lives right now, and really accentuating what they want to do in terms of their future.
So as we look now, we talk about DFOY, we're introducing you to some of the programs and the things that they have to offer. Ramik is here sharing with us a little bit about the work that's going on and making a difference in the lives of young people. And talk about this, because honestly, you are making a difference by meeting them where they are, and really, you know, in many ways, I call it being that intermediary. So for people who don't know about all the programs that you have to offer, I know there's a bunch that's out there, but what's at the disposal for people to really be able to tap into?
Well, they should visit our website to learn more about the programs. We're a site-based program, so 8 of our 9 sites operate within schools. One, we operate out of a community center that is overall facilitated by New York City Housing Authority. We run the programmatic side of that. They should really identify what they want for their kids. What we believe in is developing local and global leaders. We believe taking kids from where they're at and giving them what they need to get to where they're going. Every kid, we feel, has their own unique potential. We do that by mentoring them, by engaging them, by developing their skills, especially in the elementary and middle school years, because that's when they're sponges. That's when really what you tell them, it matters most. Not to say that, and I should back up and be clear, not to say that high school kids don't accept that information, but in middle school years in particular, all of those influences, those external factors are really resonating in a kid's life. So by the time they hit their first year in high school, they're pretty much knowing what they're capable of, or believing what they're capable of. And so what we try to do is really impact that time so that they believe in themselves, they see their value.
How big do you find mentorship to be as a component?
It's crucial. It's crucial. I would say mentorship of not only the youth, but also of the family is probably the #1 thing you can provide, because what you're doing is you're supplementing what they do in their daily lives with someone who has been there, done that, or can just help them navigate through the challenges that they're facing. Families are overworked and under-resourced. Kids are feeling that pressure and that stress. So providing someone who believes in them, who has access to resources or access to information is crucial in helping a young person out.
Ramik is our guest here in the studio. We're going to take a quick break. Be back with more. Stay with us. We got Perspectives coming up right after this.
And I can't change, even if I tried, even if I wanted to. My love, my love, my love, she keeps me warm. 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 She keeps me warm.
We are neighbors and best friends.
I love my sister.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Our family is no less than any other family.
Love is kind. Love is patient.
It's amazing to know some of the hidden secrets we have right here in the borough of the Bronx. Thank you for joining us here on Perspectives. Daren Jaime here with us, and we're talking a little bit about DFOY, and you're getting the full understanding of this organization as it's making a real impact in the borough of the Bronx. And just letting you know a little bit about the programs. Ramik is here with us, and he's been sharing a little bit about the work that's been going on. And as we were talking about some of the programs, a lot of programs that you guys have, but I know there's a couple hallmark ones that you're really proud of.
Yeah, we're really proud of our partnership program with the Bronx Lebanon Hospital. We call it the Claremont Healthy Village Initiative. And so it works in several ways. One, it provides mentorship. It really develops youth. Our youth corps is called the Urban Ambassadors, where we train them to advocate for issues within their community and advocate to policyholders, elected officials, decision makers. They conduct street surveys of their own neighborhood. They look at bodegas and supermarkets, the types of food that they have there, whether or not it's healthy or the percentage of it of which is healthy and which is not healthy. Then they compare that to where they go in other neighborhoods, the Upper East Side of Manhattan, Upper West Side of Manhattan, even Harlem. And then they conduct reports and presentations to people within the community, both tenants association presidents, community board members, community board committees, and elected officials to really advocate for change within their neighborhood. So we're really proud of the Urban Ambassadors Program as part of the Claremont Healthy Village Initiative. We're also proud of our school-based programs. We're always looking for new school partnerships to operate our programs in. We help parents identify what are the best fit schools for their kids. We help young people with their academics. Let's say if they're struggling in math, they're struggling in science. What we do is take what they do really well and accentuate that through rigorous engagement, rigorous academic work. We're really proud of that. We're proud of our mentor program, our Map for Life program, where we bring in professionals from the outside, Fortune 500 companies, lawyers, anyone who's professional and who has made it. They don't necessarily need to sit in the office. We have people who work in public sectors. We have people work for Department of Sanitation. Anyone who has a profession to help kids map out their lives, what that looks like if they're in middle school, what their life looks like for the next 20 years. If they're in high school, what their life looks like in the next 10 years, to really get an understanding of what they're doing in life. We would love to have you come out and talk with some of our young people in terms of what it took to get here for you and what you do on a daily basis, the grind, the grind and hustle, because it's real. You know, our youth, especially kids coming from the public housing and transient housing and all that that means, it means that they need role models.
Well, you're bringing that up, and that takes me to my next question, because we're talking about exposure.
Yeah.
And that's what you're talking about. You're really giving them the exposure to corporate America, to the working sector, to just careers in general. How much is that a core component of of what's needed? Because I mean, it's my belief that I'm able to sit here today because I was exposed to a lot of people. You know, and I had internships and I worked at professional TV stations, and I was exposed to certain things, and I kind of caught the bug, you know. So I know what it meant for me, but how do you play that on the lives of young people today? Exposure
is crucial. So we're an organization, we've been around 26 years. January 2018 will be around 27 years. And so exposure is crucial. Recently, I was in a meeting downtown, and I met someone who worked in the mayor's office, and she pulled me aside after the meeting. She said, you know, I went to Christopher Columbus High School, and DFOI had a program in that school, so I consider myself a DFOI kid. So she went from that setting to the mayor's office, which is a big deal, right? Our exposure programs are crucial, and our board of directors plays a big role in that. So two of our members have worked with or are currently working with Credit Suisse, the large international finance firm. And what they do twice a year is bring young people down to their business, get an observation, a job shadowing experience is really what it is, where they're able to look around the office, engage with employees to learn about what they do on a day-to-day basis, but also how they got there. And they're really empowered by that, because some folks that work in that banking sector, they're just like us, you know, they're normal. They may be making a lot more money at this point in their lives, but they really come from humble beginnings. And so they're able to provide that background. So exposure is crucial. It's exposure to the employment sector, but also exposure to the cultural setting, right? So a couple of our sites went down and spent a night at the Natural History Museum in Midtown Manhattan, just to give them an understanding of what that looks like. There's cultural arts, there's dramatic arts, there's visual arts. It's really expanding what they know and really providing them with that information, and then allowing them to flourish. Like if you see a kid and you expose them to mathematics through hip hop or mathematics through music, they'll be more engaged in that, or they'll just go into mathematics, or they'll go into music. It's really about that exposure.
Exposure is the key, and so if we're talking a little bit about this organization, it's making a difference in the lives of young people. Locations in the Bronx.
We have 8 locations, so we're everywhere in the South Bronx on Webster Avenue. We're on Dr. Martin Luther King at 204. We're in Van Ness. We're in Throgs Neck. We're all over the Bronx. If folks could see where we're at by going to our website, www.dfoy.org. We're also on Facebook, DFOY 2010. We're on Instagram, DFOY. We're on Google. We're everywhere.
Everywhere. Check them. Be back with more. Stay with us. Come right back right after this.
Well, Thomas, you've got prediabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
And we're back here on Perspectives. Daren Jaime here with you, and Ramik is sharing with us a little bit about the DFOI program. And as he's letting us know, Centers in the Bronx, 8, that you can actually see the work that's actually going on. And so for you, talk to us about your passion and your work with what you're doing.
Wow, that's a good question. My passion, it comes from the blessing of having a strong mother. You know, for many years, my mother was a single mom, raising me and my brother, eventually remarried and married a great man, my stepfather, and had another son. It really comes from just being blessed with a good a family unit that set the vision for us. You know, my mom, she used to have these college flyers and she put them all around our room because that was the vision she had for us. And outside of that, I had great people around me. I was a PAL kid, so I grew up in Police Athletic League, in plays and sports teams, and they loved me like I was one of their own kids. You know, coming out of the rain, they would pat my head down and dry me off with paper towels, correct me when I was wrong, support me when I was right, and just encourage me to, you know, come out of my shell. As a middle child, I had a shell. And then all through my life, just gravitated towards mentors, professionally and personally, individuals that, for whatever reasons, took a liking to me. And even if I wasn't always as receptive of the information that they were giving, it was around me. And eventually it just seeped in. And so it's been a real blessing to have individuals take an interest in me. So mentorship is crucial.
And so here you are, working. What's it like for you?
It is the biggest reward. You know, it's been a trajectory for me in my career. I started out working summer youth employment with my brother and I, you know, cleaning up Coney Island Beach every Saturday and Sunday. That's how old I am. SYUP was also on Saturday and Sunday. So we used to go out there. And so, you know, just working, becoming a summer camp counselor at the 9th Sector Street Y. I've worked for several settlement houses, Union Settlement being one of them, and working in community-based organizations. Eventually came to the City University of New York, worked on a Teachers as Leaders program and a Black Male Initiative umbrella, and BMCC, and now I'm here as Executive Director, CEO of Directors for Our Youth. It's a great reward. Every day I'm reminded of the importance of our work and why I'm here, and that I benefited from a program like this, so I have to go hard.
And you talk about the importance of your work. Why do you feel the work is so important?
Because we fill the gap in between school time and a young person's life outside of school. There's going to be times in a young person's life where they're not in school, whether it be the weekends, whether it be summer breaks, whether it be regular winter breaks, or just when they're not home. And so we're a viable place, a positive place, a nurturing place for young people to be, where they could be themselves. They could be themselves. They could drop off their younger siblings, or if they are the younger siblings, they could be separated from their older siblings and just develop their own personality in a safe, nurturing environment. We fill that gap of what schools can't do for young people. Schools are a great place to get academic work and academic rigor, but not everyone's going to learn in that setting all the time. So if we are able to provide math workshops, science workshops, literacy workshops in a way that schools aren't, that helps the kid along in their own path.
And give people the opportunity, once again, if you're watching right now, to find out more about DFOI's programs, that they can go to the website.
They could go to the website. What's not on our website is our photography and video program, where kids are able to capture their lives and tell their own stories by capturing photographs and video. What's also not on our website yet is our My Brother's Keeper program, our Boys to Men, and our My Sister's Keeper program, which really are gender-specific programs where young people are able to talk about their issues in a positive way, but also we provide role models for them that come in from the outside world and really engage them in a way that lets them know that they're valuable, they're valued, and they should see their potential.
Yeah, engaging young people is probably one of the biggest rewards for a lot of people when it comes to the fact that you see the payoff, you know, and so talk to me about success stories, because you know, engaging young people, sometimes people don't want to do that, and it's not their passion, but it is your passion, and it is you know, you're a recipient, you've been on both sides of it. But talk to us about the reward and the success stories that you've seen in just doing this real quick.
I've seen it just within our organization. So several of our current employees were DFOI kids, right? They came in through the program in elementary, middle school, stayed with us through their collegiate time, graduated college, and now are working with us as full-time employees. That's a big deal for us. That lets us know that our program's working, because not only are they employed, not only are they college graduates, but they're also leaders, right? They're program and site leaders. And so as our mission states, we're developing global and local leaders. It really means a big deal. So that impact that we're having resonates within the organization and resonates within the communities that we serve. So many of our parents come to us and say, well, we want to work with you. We want to be part of your staff. And we can't employ them at the site where their kids are at, because that's a conflict, but there's other sites that we do employ them. Our teachers, because 8 of our sites are within schools, they want to work with our program because of the way we attack the issues that the kids are facing, the way our approach is in terms of curriculum development, lesson plan development, activity implementation. Teachers who are with these same kids from 8 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock in the afternoon want to stay an additional 3-4 hours with these kids because of the structure of our programs.
Absolutely, it's great. And so as we said, if you want to find out more about the DFOI program, listen, you go to the website, you see the information at the bottom of the screen. I want to thank Ramik for coming and sharing with us.
Thank you for having me.
Listen, come on back.
Yes.
Next time bring some kids.
All right, we'll do.
Studio, see the chairs over that studio audience. You bring some kids, let them have a studio audience.
All right.
We can give them a little tour, and
Cool.
we'll be glad to provide some exposure.
Thank you for the invitation.
No, that's what we do. That's what we do. Ramik, our guest here on Perspectives. I want to thank you for watching. Listen, if you want to know anything more about Perspectives, tune in every week. BronxNet Channel 67. In addition, you can hit us up on the web, bronxnet.org, as we said, social media sites. But most of all, we encourage you, when it comes to a perspective, share it. You never know, because it just might make a difference in someone else's life. I'm Daren Jaime saying, for all of us here on the set of Perspectives, take care and God bless.
What's on your mind?
Let 'em know.
What's on your mind? What's on your mind?
Let 'em know. Anything relevant to life, you bring it to the table. Whether you make a move solo or a movement with a stable. No fables, you speak on your decisions. Cause in the long run, it's your voice, your views, your vision. Keeping it real with many messages for you to know. This ain't radio, but DJ runs the show. Entertainment, he rocks it. Politics, he locks it. The host with the most would handle any topic. Don't forget to share your perspective with shines of light. Cause it might make a difference in someone else's life.
Morning, Gary. We are GetSchooled.com. You want a college education, don't you? Gary, financial aid forms. Biology homework, G. Picking a college, man. You and us go together like tacos and Tuesday.
And I love tacos.